Right, so it is day 101 of my attempt to plant a new tree every single day for 2023. And so far it's going pretty well, I would say, and what's been quite pleasing today is, despite having sort of felt like the rainy season was over, we've just had a nice little storm, about 12 millimeters, which has softened the ground a little bit, so let's get on with it. Right, so today's planting is taking advantage of the little bit of rain we've had, and I suspect a little bit of rain we're going to have again in a minute, so this might be cut short quite abruptly. And we're planting a tree fern, so it's in the family Cyatheaceae, and it used to be in the genus Cyathea. I'm not sure which species it is, so I can't tell you exactly which genus it is, but I suspect my two top options are actually both in the same genus, and I just cannot remember the name of that genus. It has been moved, whichever species it is. I hope it is Cyathea dregei, or whatever that is called now, which is quite a widespread native tree fern which spreads through a lot of southern Africa and southern tropical Africa. I have seen that growing wild in a couple of places. It is a truly beautiful tree, but it does like quite a lot of sun as well as quite a lot of water. So usually it's a riverine tree, and occasionally it's in the dambos, which are basically seasonally flooded grasslands that act as a sort of sponge to feed the rivers through the years. I suspect it is actually Cyathea australis, or whatever that is called now, which is a, as you might guess, Australian tree fern, although I believe the australis just means southern, which does extend quite a large area of Australia and does have quite a wide climatic tolerance. It usually grows in quite dense, relatively shady environments, although again it is relatively tolerant of sun for a tree fern, for a fern generally. They are pretty hardy trees, but they will probably need some water year-round. It is going into my thicket area, which is a sort of dense mixed planting, which is slowly coming up and should eventually create a habitat which needs a lot less irrigation to stay humid year-round. It does already need a lot less than it did, because when this was lawn, where I am planting this, it dried out very, very quickly and it did not hold any moisture or nutrition. So it is doing better, but it will get better over the next few years as a lot of the things I planted in here come up and get a little bit of height and get a little bit of density to increase the sort of shelter around the ground here. But because this is going into quite a dense area, it's not actually getting any companion plants, so this is probably one of the simplest plantings I'm doing this year. Right, so that should be everything for today. Thank you very much for watching. Please tune in again tomorrow when I'll be planting something that is not a tree fern and probably is a little bit more useful, even though it's slightly less awesome. Sometimes, late at night, when you go to collect the eggs, you get this. This is a broody hen who is currently convinced she's going to be hatching some chicks, even though she is sitting there with nothing. Sometimes you get a broody rooster, and this is basically because the lights were a little bit low when they went to bed. So as they took themselves to bed, they couldn't all get up in the perches, and one of the roosters decided it was time to spend the night in a nest box. In theory, this is actually, I think, how you get a cockatrice when a rooster hatches an egg, but I'm not sure. But anyway, he's not going to be hatching anything.